At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Frank Morales to lead us in an invocation, please.
Eternal Father, we humbly offer Thee our poor presence and that of the whole of humanity, from the beginning to the end of the world, and all the masses that ever have or ever will be prayed. We offer Thee all the pains, sufferings, prayers, sacrifices, joys, and relaxations of our lives, in union with those of our Lord Jesus Christ here on earth. May the most precious blood of Christ, all His blood and wounds and agony save us, through the sorrowful and immaculate heart of Mary. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome you all to our meeting tonight, and on behalf of the Commission, wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and hope you all get to spend some time off with your families. But in the meantime, we'll continue with our meeting and go to citizen communication. So, Amanda?
Mayor, we have we have Ron Lozano, 2410 Riverside Drive, and he wants to speak on item number 3 on the agenda of the agenda, Mayor. Item presentation by Rolando Rios on the 2020 redistricting plan for the city of Harlingen.
I don't see Ms. Gomez. If she comes in, we'll call her. Okay.
Okay, Mayor.
All right. And that was all that's signed up. We'll call Mr. Lozano on item 3.
Yes.
All right. Item 1 is the approval of the minutes of the joint meeting of the City Commission and Harlingen Development Corporation of March 30th, 2021, the special City Commission meeting of June 9th, 2021, and the regular City Commission meeting of August 18th, 2021. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Consent agenda items 2A through D. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Item 3, a presentation by Rolando L. Rios on the 2020 redistricting plan for the city of Harlingen.
Mayor, members of the commission,
I'd like the motion that we table this item because I'm not real happy with the fact that we only got one option. And I really would like to.
Before we get a second on that, I would like I'd like Gabriel to talk to us about the time frame.
yes, Mayor. We did have one option that was presented to us by Mr. Rios. He was scheduled to join us by Zoom today, but something came up at the last minute, and he advised me that he would not be able to be here by Zoom today. He did say he would make the next meeting in January. He did say that we had time to actually adopt a plan in January to meet the timeline for the election in May. There was one comment that was submitted to Mr. Rios regarding the map that was submitted to you. He did provide a second alternate to that, but it was too late to include in your packet. I have a copy that I can hand out to everybody, but I certainly don't expect for there to be action because you may have some questions for Mr. Rios that we may not be able to answer as to why he chose the boundaries that he did.
Okay, so he said that we have time?
Yes, sir, we do.
And how much did he say, what the deadline, is there a deadline?
No, but he anticipated that we would either have it approved by the second meeting in January, given if there were any comments from the commission in the first meeting in January, make some changes to the boundaries.
Is there any way that we can get like maybe schedule a workshop with him so that we
Yes,
can
we
go
can.
over?
Well, that's what I was going to suggest, Mayor. We can, whenever the council is available, that we schedule some kind of workshop and get a more detailed understanding of each individual district and the whole process, right? And so we make a more informed decision.
Would you like to have the conference scheduled with him this month, or you want to wait till January?
January?
Probably in January.
January, okay. Well, we have the first meeting in
But I don't want to do it in a meeting. I'd like to do a workshop.
Workshop,
So we can get all the
okay.
questions answered. And then when, that we were prepared by the meeting and everybody's gotten to see what's being proposed.
Okay, so perhaps after our city commission meeting, we can schedule something with him. Okay, after 5 o'clock.
So it's a motion.
Well, I mean, does anybody have any problem with just having a workshop early in January?
That works.
That's
Well,
fine.
we could all, when is the first meeting in January?
It is the 3rd or 4th, I believe.
Third or fourth?
Yeah.
It's on the,
I'm sorry, it's on the 5th, January 5th. January 5th is the first meeting in January. So we
Maybe
could
the
have it,
third or the fourth.
Well, that would be we could have a workshop before the meeting, like we have done in the past.
we'd have to schedule it at 5 o'clock, I think. Because of the ordinance that we adopted, we'd have to schedule it at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I know, I'd like to do one to really spend time on it, right? I mean, like, maybe the third or the
Well,
fourth.
as much time as the commission wants, but I just don't think there's any reason to delay it. If the commission wants to talk about it, we should probably put it on the next agenda at the next meeting.
I agree with the mayor.
We can also set up a workshop.
I agree with the mayor. We'll have that we should have the meeting on the redistricting on the next one, the 5th. And we can, like Richard said, we could schedule it like on maybe the 3rd or the 4th, whichever is more convenient.
I think the 4th would be better because a lot of us may not be here on Monday, the 3rd, so the 4th is Tuesday. We can do that at 5:30 if you'd like.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we have a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The item is tabled. Item 4, consideration of possible action to approve a resolution to adopt the
We have to pass
that needs
that.
to be tabled as well. Is there a motion
Motion
to
to
table?
table on 4.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Item 5, public hearing to consider an ordinance on first reading to rezone from general retail GR district to planned development PD district for single-family and multifamily use for 66.902 acres out of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, Block 146, San Benito Land and Water Company subdivision located on the northwest corner of Hayne Road and FM 509.
Mayor, City Commission, good evening. We have a proposed development that requires a zoning change to Plan Development District. The location, this is the is this thing on? Okay, yeah, it was off. Sorry. Okay, so this is the property we're discussing. And this is Haynes Street, and this is FM 509, and this is East Treasure Hills Boulevard. So it's a large property here. The zoning right now is a general retail district. The proposed zoning is planned development district. This is the aerial photograph of the property, so it's all agricultural land right now. And this is the proposed layout. This is the same developer for Tres Lagos subdivision in McAllen. And Mr. Rhodes, the developer, he's proposing a similar subdivision here in Harlingen, which follows the format for his subdivisions, which is the curved streets. But on Hayne Road, he is proposing some apartments in the front and then a commercial property at the corner of Hayne and FM 509. And then the rest are going to be single-family homes. That's the picture of the property. And it's in line with the comprehensive plan because the comprehensive plan calls for low density residential. The majority of this development is low density residential. Staff recommends approval, subject to compliance with drainage requirements from engineering and compliance with the fire department and compliance with the building codes. Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on December 8th, and no one spoke in opposition to the request, and they unanimously recommended approval of the planned development district for this property.
All right, we'll go to item A, which is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who'd like to speak for or against this ordinance?
Good evening, Mayor. Ron Lozano.
At that meeting that he mentioned on the 8th, I thought I spoke a little bit about it, and I think I have one point I'd like to make, that intersection, a major intersection, is adjacent to a fair community of San Benito. And I think San Benito has some good qualities, particularly because it's a school. It's a large school there, catty corner from that property. And cleverly, Mr. Cervantes said that the majority of it is for housing, but that area closest to the school is commercial. And I would hope that the commission might deal with the builder and suggest that there not be any vape shops, well, just across the street from a major school, even if it's not Harlingen. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against this rezoning? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and go to item B, which is consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to rezone from general retail GR district to land development PD district for single-family and multifamily uses for 66.902 acres out of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, Block 146, San Benito Land and Water Company subdivision located on the northwest corner of Hain Road and FM 506. I'll ask the city attorney to read the caption.
Item B, consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to rezone from general retail district to planned development PD district for single-family and multifamily uses for 66.902 acres out of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, Block 146, San Benito Land and Water Company subdivision located on the northwest corner of Hain Road and FM 519.
All right. Is there a motion to adopt
So
the
moved.
ordinance?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign.
Thank you so
Motion
much.
carries. We have Mr. Rhodes, the developer, I think, is in the audience. He presented at the Waterworks Board meeting earlier this month or last month, and we just want to welcome you to Harlingen. Thank you for making the investment and working on this development. We're excited about it.
Hopefully the first of several.
Great, thank you. Item 6, consideration and possible action to accept bids and award the contract for the CDBG Fillmore Avenue Street Improvement Project bid number 2022-02 to the lowest responsible bidder and waive any informalities.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. One of the projects that we had approved in the 2020-2021 CDBG action plan was the reconstruction of Fillmore Avenue, a portion of it from M Street to J Street. We went out for bids October 19th. We did receive 3 bids. The bids were in the amount of $199,623, $163,054, and $142,353.40. So we are here today requesting or asking if you all would consider awarding the contract to the lowest bidder, which is Ream Construction, for $142,353.40.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Excuse me. How much, are you allowing any amounts for change orders?
The project was awarded, or the budget for this project was $159,974. So that is what we have budgeted of CDBG funds.
How much, 159 what?
$159,974.
But do you, his question is, do you have any, in the contract, if awarded, do you have any wording on change orders or specific to change orders?
I do believe it allows, just like all the other projects, I believe it's 25%.
25% usually what we can do without having to come back and take any major action. There are some reserves in this particular budget that if we have an overrun, we can actually allocate that towards the project.
But
No, I think to answer your question, the answer is
the
no.
concern that I think I shared with Mr. Maz is that they may become the lowest bidder, but then after change orders, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, That's why, in my opinion, you put restrictive change orders that they would have to come back for an approval, or it had to be a justifiable change order.
Yeah, we don't
And
norm-
not in the scope of work that's not normally done.
Yeah, we don't normally have a line item for change orders in the project itself. There's usually a small for contingencies, but it's usually less than 10%.
No, I understand that, but that's how they get around. That's why I tell you about the procurement process that we have is broken, and we have to do and it's just to be cautious. I don't know that.
I think what there's a 25% included in the total that y'all got, so it may end up costing less, but they put that in the budget, so that way if there is any change orders, they're able to cover it with that, what they're requesting.
We normally just bid out and award the dollar amount that they bid to us. If there's an issue that comes up, we normally have to consider that with the engineer. And if it's a larger amount, we just can't do it because it'll go above the.
Have we done, has that company done work for us before, or any other city?
Yes, sir.
What projects have they done here in Hartsville?
So they have done the street improvement project. I think it was not this last fiscal year, but the year before that.
Did we have any issues with the?
No, Ream's a good firm, contractor,
Okay.
and they've done good jobs for us.
Okay.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any, to award the contract per staff's recommendation? Is there any other discussion?
Let me ask one more question, Peter. Mr. Sanchez over there is vouching for the company, so we can assume that 10 years from now, once the project is completed, the street's still going to hold true, correct?
Well,
The
that's
work-
gonna, typically it's a rehab program, what we have. So the engineering department looks at the infrastructure, the structural strength of the roadway itself. But then again, we also have the typical pavement cross-section or pavement design. Now, based on traffic volumes, if they change and so forth, I mean, the guarantee is anything between 5 to 10 years.
Okay. There's a street that was done, it's on Lincoln between Dixieland to Palm Court or Palm, at the end of the road where the apartments are at. That was an outside firm that did that.
Correct.
And I've driven on that street many times, and I've never seen any issues there.
Sure.
Did that firm throw in a bid?
I couldn't tell you, Commissioner. I'd have to look at the bid documents. I'm thinking 2GS or 2GS was the contractor that bid that or did that work. And they did not, well, yeah, 2GS.
Well, you got 2GS
2GS was the firm that did the work on Dixieland.
on Lincoln Street.
On Lincoln,
From
I'm sorry,
Lincoln
on
going-
Dixieland, from Lincoln north to Garrett Road.
Okay.
Well,
And we did that about 3, maybe 4 years ago.
So that firm bid at this job for $199, and we're gonna go with the lowest.
Yes,
well,
sir.
this was bid pursuant to the competitive bidding statute, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we're obligated to accept the lowest responsible bidder,
The lowest responsible bidder.
and we can reject them all and start all over. I'm not sure where you're going with this, Commissioner.
Well, my point is simple. We're gonna go with the lowest.
That's
I'm
what
concerned about the-
state law requires us to go with the lowest
Go
responsible
with the lowest.
bidder. Yeah,
Okay.
the lowest responsible bidder, as long as they've qualified, if they're financially qualified.
And then my all concern is also the quality of work. Okay? So when I'm being told that 2GS did the work on Garrett Road or on Lincoln for his portion, and I never seen any deterioration on that road, that stands out to me.
Well,
Okay?
again,
Because
Commissioner.
to me, it
based-
tells me that the quality of work is there from this company. Unfortunately, it's $55,000 more than the lowest bid.
Dixieland, again, because it's a thoroughfare collector roadway, the expectations of traffic of the volumes are a lot higher. So on that street, we went in there and we did a thicker pavement section on that. If I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, I think we went with 12 inches of caliche, 2.5, 3 inches of asphalt. So it's a beefier pavement section,
Okay.
and you'll see that performance there that way.
Let's hope it works out.
Well, I just, to his point, I just don't want it to be that they're the lowest bidder, but then they end up spending $200,000 anyway, in change orders, right?
Well, again, the cost, the engineering department does the engineering estimate when they solicit the funds from HUD or from CDBG. And so the budget is in line with that cost estimate. And again, it's more or less in line with what the low bid is at this point.
Okay, is there any other discussion or questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. All right, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 7, consideration and possible action to authorize the city manager to enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Brownsville for the use of their landfill for the disposal of all solid waste.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Good evening. Since 2011, the city has been transporting our solid waste, brush, debris, and some ash to the Edinburgh landfill. That contract that began is due to expire on December 31st, coming up in a couple of days. So we went out looking for alternatives, whether we stay with them or look for other municipalities or other sites. We went into negotiations with Brownsville. The city manager and I met with Mr. Noel Bernal, their city manager, and Mr. Armando Gutierrez, the Public Works Director. And in your packet, you have a spreadsheet of our findings that we feel is great for the city. We are looking at approximately saving, and I say approximate because, the number of solid waste increases, and these numbers were generated from an average of one driver in particular, not the entire fleet that we have. So we're looking at an average of saving about $210,800 per year. And also in your packet, you have the agreement that Brownsville has already presented to their city commission, and they approved it unanimously, so we bring it before you. We do have one minor change on section 6. You'll see it in your new packet. I think it's not in your packet, I'm sorry, it was left over. There's a section that, for indemnity that we
That's section
off.
6B that was
6B,
that was stricken,
yes.
yes.
Do you have the spreadsheet for the?
We do have it, Commissioner, and unfortunately, it's just as small as this one.
Oh, because I don't have it in my packet.
No, it's under your packet, Commissioner. It was left on your table
It was left on the table.
as a separate
I'm
document.
sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's small.
Hopefully you can, I apologize for that, it's a lot of numbers that we presented. And
So I have just a real quick question.
Yes, sir.
Is the calculation, the more we send, the more we save? Or is it no matter what we're gonna save?
It's pretty much no matter what because of the distance, the proximity, right? Brownsville is approximately 58 miles round trip versus Edinburgh is 96 miles.
So you have the
round
mileage, but you also have time,
of our employees.
and then the wear and tear on the truck, right?
The wear and
It's
tear.
all here.
And Commissioner, one of the things that we're hoping to avoid is we've had to shut down the landfill a few times because we were down to 3 drivers at one time. And so going to Brownsville would be a lot faster.
So this is gonna allow you to do what? How does that save you with your personnel? Are using less personnel?
Well, we can use the same personnel and make sure that we comply with TCEQ and having our floor completely emptied every single night. That's just one of the benefits.
We won't be paying overtime either as much.
Stress on our vehicles, stress
And
on our
is
drivers.
this a 1 year?
No,
It's a 10-year.
it's a 10-year contract, but it renews after, it's a 5-year contract that renews after 5 years, I believe is what it is.
Do you have an out, at any time?
Yes,
We both
yes,
do,
we do.
yes.
City of Brownsville does, and so does City of
And,
Harlingen.
Mr. Sassi, have you looked at the contract?
Yes, I have. That was the reason the indemnity provision was removed. It violates Article 11, Section 7 of the Texas Constitution.
Okay, so you're okay with that?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. I want to congratulate the staff. I think this is a good, this is a good action to take because I think it will not only save us money, but it'll just be more efficient because the landfill will be closer.
We certainly believe so, Mayor.
Yeah,
So
yeah, okay.
we're looking forward to that.
Thank you. Item 8, consideration of possible action to approve a resolution terminating the city's 401A plan, creating a 457 plan administered by TCG, and terminating the 457 plan administered by AIG, VLI, IC. Gabe?
Mayors and members of the commission, as you know, the city of Harlingen took action to to freeze the 401A retirement plan September of 2021. The plan had $13,127,098 that was contributed by the participants and the city. Now, there were, and there still are, outstanding loans in that particular 401A of $600,000. There are 93 participants that have outstanding loans with the 401A. So what we're recommending to do is to close the 401A as of March 1st, 2022, create a separate 457 that will be administered and offered by TCG. Now, once you close the plan, all funds will have to be transferred out. They can't leave them in the 401A anymore. So as of March 1st, every single dollar has to be taken out of the 401A plan. And there's several options for the participants. They can transfer to any city-sponsored 457 plan, or they can choose their own IRA and transfer it into that. Right now, we have an ICMA 457 that has about $7.7 million in it, a nationwide 457 that has $7 million, and VALIC has about $712,000. What we're proposing to do is to close the plan that's offered by VALIC. It's got very few participants, and then replace that with the 457 that's offered by TCG. The reason for doing that is because if you have a loan with the 401A plan and you want to keep paying on it, you have to transfer your funds to the 457 offered by TCG, and then keep servicing that loan. If you go with somebody else, that loan becomes an unqualified disbursement, and you'll have to pay 20% taxes plus 10% penalty. So those that don't have any outstanding loans can choose ICMA nationwide or their own IRA account. Or they can just take their cash and keep it and just pay the penalty on the withdrawal from the 401A. The resolution will adopt all these agreements that will be required to close the plan, advise the other 457 participants of what we're doing, and let VALIC know that we're going to close their 457 plan. There is somebody here from TCG, David Rodriguez, if you have any questions for him.
Yeah, I have questions.
Okay.
David Rodriguez with TCG.
Okay. I'm securities licensed. So a 401A is a retirement plan. A 457 is not a retirement plan. Legally, can people roll a retirement plan of 401A into a 457, which is not a retirement plan, without tax consequences?
Yes, that was changed years ago under the Pension Protection Act, where there was flexibility in rolling over 401As, 401Ks, 457s, IRAs, whatever it might be. The key with this for your employees is those employees with outstanding loans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What we do and what our legal counsel indicated, those loans can be transferred over to us. We do have to re-loan the money, recalculate in the paperwork itself, but it allows that employee to continue payroll deductions to pay off that loan.
Right, and both you and I understand that should that be a default in the payment process,
Right.
heavy penalties and taxes are due, which would crush each individual employee who
Absolutely.
has done that. Now, and do you all understand, Gabe, do you all understand that as a deferred comp, legally it is the assets of the employee, but legally it's the assets of the city?
We are
And should the city ever have to default, those assets are lost by the employee to the city creditors.
We as a city, there was a law that changed about 4 years ago that made the city become a fiduciary for the 457s, even though we don't contribute any money to that.
Right.
So yes, we understand the implications of offering 457s. A lot of employees did not want to keep the 401A. They wanted to actually roll their money into 457s. That's up to them. But by closing the plan, it will force every participant to have to remove their money from the 401A into another option, either a 457 or a Roth. I'm sorry, not a Roth, an IRA.
Okay, so, and I know 72T rules apply to IRAs, but 72Ts don't apply to 401s.
Correct. And the 457 is the same thing. Quote unquote, there's no 10% penalty once you leave a 457 plan or once you separate or terminate them.
Correct, you just pay income taxes on
Yes,
it
yes,
because
sir.
it's deferred compensation. It's compensation you didn't take per paycheck.
Yes, sir.
But you gave it to the city to hold for you in a plan for your benefit only.
Right, absolutely.
Now, I would like,
And I just want to say one thing real quick, Gabe. We want to make sure and do precise communication to the employees, how vital this money is. I'm talking about the $13 million in benefits that you provide them. That was matched by the city. You're going into TMRS brand new with 0 account balances. So this money is there for their pension. We want to make sure and communicate with them those choices to use that money to roll it as a supplement to their TMRS benefits. Does that make sense? Okay. So
Well, it makes total financial sense to me, but in my close to 40 years of being securities licensed, I can tell you when people see their name on a number,
Yeah.
people jump at it, and they don't care about the damned tax consequences or
They
the
pull the
damn
money.
tax penalties
Right.
until April 15th of the next year.
And you're absolutely right, Commissioner. I mean, obviously, we did meetings initially with employees back in, Sean Romero's our retirement specialist that's going to be working these accounts here. He lives in Edinburgh. We did meetings back in November, December, with employees, and we had a lot of questions specifically, what you're indicating. We just wanted to make sure and answer all of them for them to make sure they understood the the tax consequences, whatever it might be. So they were going to keep them completely informed. Obviously, you're going to have employees that see that balance, and what are they going to do?
Pickup truck.
Buy a boat, buy a pickup truck, whatever it might be, and then the taxes hit them.
Right.
We're going to do that communication. We're going to do those meetings. Obviously, it's important to us.
And then, so this would, can we have the slides back again?
sure.
And I'm just asking all these
Sure,
questions so
absolutely.
everybody here knows.
And these are the totals on the outstanding loans that are still being serviced by TCG, $600,000. It's about 93 people that are paying into those loans right now. Now, some of them are relatively small, under $1,000,
Right,
but there's a few that are over $50,000. So.
right, okay. Next slide. Okay, so your goal, in order for you to make money, is to roll these people's 401s into your 457.
Sure. and-
That's how you make your money.
Well, obviously, they're going to have the choice, okay? So they would have the choice to roll it into one of 3 457 plans you're still going to have available, either Nationwide, ICMA, or RTCG plan. RTCG plan is going to be identical to the 401A we administered. The lowest fees, the same investment choices, everything's going to be in place. So it's going to be the same investment platform.
Okay.
So it is clear to the employee that they do have a choice, whatever they want to do with their money.
They have that determination.
Okay, but
Okay.
if somebody has a loan outstanding, they would have to roll it into a 457 or suffer taxes and tax penalties,
Into
correct?
our 457.
Yes.
If they-
If they do not have a loan outstanding, they could roll it over to any institution.
Correct.
Right. And will they know that? Or is-
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I will add very quickly that some of those participants may not actually be employees any longer of the city, and therefore they're going to need some sort of assistance also. It may make most sense for them to roll into an IRA, but it also may make sense for us to continue to work with them.
Okay,
So
let's talk about your 457 plan. What investment options are there?
in that plan, it's going to be all low-cost mutual funds that are in that plan. We'd like to choose funds that have the lowest expense ratios. I know there's some life cycle funds in there or target date
And
funds.
do you provide any advice?
I do, yes. I am a licensed securities advisor,
Okay,
correct.
and what
Investment advisor representative.
What securities licenses do you have?
65.
65? Okay. So you don't use ETFs or stocks in your IRA?
Not in the
or your
plan.
457?
Not in that 457
Okay.
plan.
And then, okay, so you would design a 457 investment plan, and how often could an individual, if they wish to choose, change their options? Daily, weekly, monthly, annually?
With the platform, they're able to make changes as often as they need. They'll have an online account, they'll have a mobile app that they can, get on and make those changes if necessary.
Okay. Thank you for answering my question.
Yes, sir.
Staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Motion approved.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or any other questions? I appreciate your making it a point to try to explain to our employees, our former employees, all of the consequences of these changes and the potential tax consequences as well, but also encouraging the use of the responsible use of this money as it was originally intended to provide for retirement and not really to be a bonus, So we hope that
Sure.
you'll be able to
Well, and that's a
communicate
good,
that.
excellent point, Mayor, because, to interrupt you, we want to make sure we keep them completely informed. And we plan on doing more meetings with them. We'll look at the schedules on the timeline, and Sean and I will come back out and meet with these employees, whether it's departments or whatever. And what's good about Sean being here, he's up the street in Edinburgh. So he'll be that representative to take care of your employees.
Oh, we appreciate it, and I think that's an important focus of this change. All right, so without any other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9, consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading amending Harlingen City Code, Chapter 6, Article 2, Division 2, Animal Shelter Advisory Committee, Section 6.56, composition, qualifications, appointments, filing vacancies, to replace it with a new section.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. We requested the approval of this ordinance amendment. This will change the composition of the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee, and will open up the opportunity for other citizens to participate as well. We recommend approval.
It will have 9 members, Mayor, 7 appointed by the commission, 2 by the mayor, and 1 each by the commissioners, and then have the Humane Society Executive Director and the Animal Control Manager as 2 members.
What
of the
is it
board.
now? What is the composition now?
Right now, I believe it has 1 person from the municipal court, 1 from the Humane Society, 1 from the city, and 2 members of, citizens. That's it.
And I think there's a vet that's got to be on the board
Yeah,
also.
the vet has to be on the board.
There's a veterinarian that has to be on the board. So it's been really difficult to find a veterinarian willing to serve, so, and I think that's one of the changes that Luis talked about when he came up to talk to us at the last meeting. And so,
So this will remove the requirement of a veterinarian?
Yes.
yes, it will. And Josh went over the the changes with Luis at the Humane Society, and they both talked about it, and they felt comfortable with it.
And it'll remove the requirement to have somebody from the Humane Society on the advisory.
No, the executive director will be on the board.
Executive
Yes, sir.
director will- all right.
Along with the animal control manager from the city of Harlingen.
Okay.
It's a motion for approval.
Second.
Well, I think we need to read the caption. I think Mark needs to read the caption.
Number 9, consideration and possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading amending Harlingen City Code, Chapter 6, Article 2, Division 2, Animal Shelter Advisory Committee, Section 6.56, composition, qualifications, appointments, filling vacancies, and a replacement with the new section.
Okay, now.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Item 10, consideration and possible action to approve installation of street bumps at the following streets: Vista Verde Circle East and Vista Verde Circle West, from Vista Verde Circle North to Murphy Drive.
Mayor, the city engineer has looked at the request submitted by the commissioners, and the streets meet the criteria for street humps, so we're recommending approval of the request.
What does each street hump cost?
Commissioner, I don't know offhand. I know we allocated funding to buy 10 of them.
Rodrigo's standing up. He may have the information.
City Commission in our budget approved
60?
60,000, and in fact, we were able to negotiate a better deal for them because we bought them in bulk. We have 10 in stock, and we're getting ready to order 10 more. And so we'll have 20 in a couple of months. We don't have, as if we start using the ones that we have now, we're going to order an additional to replace those, and that should.
So if I'm
empty
doing
our
the
stock.
math in my head,
So using
each
staff
street
and-
bump is $6,000?
Yes. But we're looking cost to city employees and equipment and stuff, we averaged out about between 3,400 and 3,600 per speed hump.
Okay. This is part of the annual
Yes.
program. This is just being
Right,
part
right.
of
So when you
what's
add
already
in,
been budgeted.
when you add in labor plus equipment and supplies, then it's about $9,600 per speed bump.
More or less.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion, second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 11, consideration possible action regarding first reading of the City of Harlingen ordinance amending Harlingen City Code Chapter 2, Administration Article 2, Division 3, Qualifications, Section 2.92, to remove residence requirement for the position. This item was requested by Mayor Pro Tem Uribe and Commissioner Puente.
Did you want to provide some insight into what?
This was put on by the commissioners.
Yeah, I felt that it was important that we remove that requirement. I understand the requirement for a city manager and for our directors, but for our professional services, I don't think it's necessary. And I don't know of any other city that requires that.
I have a question for the attorney. Is this the right chapter, article, division, and section 2.92?
Yes. As far as I know. You want me to check it right now?
Please.
I believe it is.
Yeah, please check
I
it.
think it is.
So I'm
I
guessing.
believe it is. I looked at it.
You didn't write this up?
No, I wrote it at the request of the commissioner.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I told him what I wanted, and he made sure we read it correctly.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I guess it's okay. Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item 12, board appointments. Do you have any board appointments?
I have none, sir.
Any board appointments?
Yeah, let me try this one. Reappoint Josh Ramirez to the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee.
I have one. I'm going to appoint Jim Young to the Community Development Advisory Board.
Commissioner Morales, I think the Josh is automatically appointed to the board, so you may want to.
Get somebody else?
Yes, sir.
No problem.
Okay.
Take care of that.
Thank you.
Okay, so withdraw that appointment. I'm sorry, what was that? What was your appointment?
To the Community Development Advisory Board. Jim Young.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve board appointments?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Item 13, executive closed session regarding the following items. A, deliberation pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.0871 regarding commercial or financial information the government body has received from a business prospect and the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body. And 551.0872 to deliberate and offer financial or other incentive to a business prospect described by Section 1. Item B, consultation and legal counsel pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071 to receive privileged attorney-client communication on a confidential matter. C, consultation with legal counsel pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071 to receive privileged attorney-client communication on confidential matters of pending litigation. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be in executive session meeting with our attorneys, and there is one item that we could take action on when we conclude that. Thank you.
tried reading it.
Okay, we are out of executive session at 7:22 PM, and we're going to go to item 14. Yeah, I mean, it's consideration possible action to approve. It says item 12B, but I think it means 13B. There's a typographical error.
13B. That's correct, Mayor.
Is there a motion? Is 13B. Okay. Is there a, what is the motion?
Richard?
Okay, I'm sorry, what item?
It's 13B.
It's gonna be 13B?
Instead of 12, it's 13.
Is this on the audit? Because it's, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, and I'd like the motion that we direct staff to proceed with the Public Works Phase 1 for now, and we'll address all the other at a later time.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're adjourned. Good night. Have a safe evening.